Hello friends, welcome to Tilted Planet. This is Sangeeta and today I am going to talk about believers and non-believers. Why do some people believe in God and why some don't? With a usual disclaimer that I am a non-believer. Though I am a non-believer and atheist, I am not an atheist activist. It is because I think it is a lost cause. As rationalists and thinkers, it is our responsibility to understand everything, and religion is a part of that. We need to understand the phenomenon of religion, and we can't do that if we dismiss it. Why does religion exist? Why is it that cultures that were completely isolated from each other had imagined some kind of a god, a natural spirit, a supernatural power? Why? Anthropologists think that religion is an adaptation. It is what helped the human species deal with its heightened awareness about one's mortality, awareness that raises a barrage of questions that have no answers to. Religion helps to soften that blow by saying things like, it's just your body dies, you live on, your soul lives on. It doesn't matter whether it is true or not. People are not always looking for truth. Sometimes they are looking for comfort, sometimes they are looking for validation, and sometimes they are looking for boundaries. I have my own hypothesis about religion and lack thereof, and that is what I am going to present today. Number one, if religion is an adaptation, it is temporary. Anthropologists think that the growth of a fetus within the uterus is literally the entire evolution process in fast forward manner in exactly that sequence. The embryo develops from the single cell to a fully formed fetus within a short span of the gestation period. Now, if the growth of a fetus follows the path of evolution, could our post-birth life predict the future of evolution? If you have been a parent, or if you have seen children around you and their development, you know that children engage in imaginative play in their toddlerhood. It begins in toddlerhood and then it goes away. So, is our civilization in its toddlerhood right now? And could that explain our insatiable palate, not just for religion but also for fiction in general? If that is an explanation, then I have to say that religion and all fiction in general is temporary in our civilization. Second, religion bears the mark of our DNA and follows the history of our civilization thus far. We have developed as a herd species that lives in a herd. Within a herd, each individual has a position within the hierarchy of the herd. So each individual has a valency of command and a valency of submission. Think of it like an atomic valency that is responsible for chemical reactions. For example, a beta male's valency of submission is 1 because he is taking directions from the alpha male, and valency of command is more than 1 because they can lead multiple individuals of the herd. And an individual is able to perform optimally when these valencies are perfectly met, and the individual's performance is suboptimal when they have a valency mismatch, such as a valency overload or a valency underload. So how did I get this idea of valencies of command and submission? I will tell you a story. There is a farm animal sanctuary near where I live, and as a vegan I visit that sanctuary a lot. Well, not a lot, but I visit that sanctuary. In that sanctuary, there were a few goats that were rescued from different places. To that mix, one day, a new rescue was added. His name is Jonathan. Jonathan walks in, and as soon as he walks in, all of those goats, the individual goats, they accepted Jonathan as their leader. And at that moment, the set of individual goats became a herd under the leadership of this goat Jonathan. Now, Jonathan isn't a particularly aggressive or a big goat. And it always amazed me and got me into thinking, like, what is it? What verbal or non-verbal communication happened between those goats? Why was Jonathan accepted as a leader? Why it almost seemed like it was something that was waiting to happen, like the Messiah arrives. So that's when light bulbs went on in my mind, like these individual goats had unmet valencies of submission, and Jonathan has had unmet valency of command. In some way, we don't understand this phenomena, but we need to define it so that we can further explore it. And once I understood that whole phenomenon of potential valencies of command and submission, it made a lot of sense of what I had heard from people. A Pakistani woman once told me that she once saw a picture of a woman Indian saint, and at that moment this Pakistani woman knew that that was her guru, and since then she had been following that. And it makes her happy. Her life changed after that. That is what this Pakistani woman told me. And my interpretation of that is that this Pakistani woman had an unmet valency of submission. And that met when she saw the picture of this Indian saint. And if this phenomena, it is a hypothesis, but if this is what helps people perform better by meeting their valencies, who am I to tell them not to do that? Now, it's not really a new phenomena. Science has known it. There is a word in zoology called imprint. Let me read that to you. Imprint of a young animal come to recognize another animal, person or a thing as a parent or other object of habitual trust. The bird thought I was its mother and imprinted on me. It is also the reason, like companion animals that are herd animals such as dogs, they follow a human being because they imprint upon that human being. So, existence of unmet valencies of command and submission and a specific form of verbal or non-verbal communication are two key ingredients of formation of an imprint. It is a bond. It is a lot like love. We say love at first sight. There's so many things said about love. We don't fully understand it. The same way we don't fully understand religion. Just because we don't understand it is no reason to dismiss it. And calling people stupid is not the best way to understand it. In the past, as the human settlements started and the size of the herd grew and grew and grew, towns formed, they became cities and then turned into kingdoms, and the leader of the herd, such as a king, could not always be seen. Now, what does this mean to an individual with a past of living in the herd in the jungle? When you don't see your leader, you could be lost. And that is a very, very dangerous situation. And so the fear sets on. In that situation, the personification of God as a human being, or a prophet, or a symbol of God, or a mantra provided an instant affirmation when an individual needed it. Third hypothesis. Religion is a dream of our collective consciousness. Think of the entire human species as one organism. Now, religion has a lot of resemblance to our dreams. Dreams have some elements of reality. You start with someone you know or some place you know, but then it is mixed with such distortions that it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense in the state of awakening. Could it be then that religion is a dream of our collective consciousness? It has some elements of reality and some not. No matter how senseless our dreams are, they have a purpose. When our brain is processing the events of the real life, organizing memories and thoughts, that's when the dreams happen. Dreams have a purpose. Similarly, the religion has a purpose. Think of religion as a dream and science as the result of it. Because science has fulfilled what the religion has dreamt. One simply have to look at the Hindus. Whenever there is any new invention, Hindus go like this: oh, this is nothing new. Our sages already knew that. This is written in our Vedas or this scripture or that scripture. You could think of any invention and they will say our ancestors knew it, because they had seen it in this dream that was given to them by religion. So what can religion tell us about the future of our evolution? Could the ultimate stage for evolution could be what a heaven looks like, where people exist without their bodies. They are still able to experience all the pleasures without the pains of a bodily existence. With this understanding, I have made my peace with the believers. Religion is not entirely a matter of choice. It happens to people. If I can't say Jonathan indoctrinated those goats, I can't say all of my believer friends and family are indoctrinated either. I mean, given that there is thousands upon thousands of years of indoctrination that has occurred, yet at the core of it is a very specific need. And if that need is met by religion, so be it. So if that is the case, what about us? What about atheists and agnostics? Is our valency of submission zero? I would say yes. I would also say that valency is not something that you're born with and it's deterministic or authoritative. It actually changes. Have you noticed that people become more religious as they age? It's because they've done their alphaship, and alphaship is never meant to be a lifelong occupation. It's a temporary post. So they're done with it, and all they want to now relax and be religious. And why that happens is because their valency has now changed. A person actually told me that he wished his mom was still alive. She would have been happy seeing him be religious, because when he was young, his lack of faith was a frequent reason of contention between him and his mother. He said earnestly, he really said earnestly, my mom would have felt so much better if she saw me today. Yeah, and I have to believe him, you know. I can't dismiss his feelings and his thoughts about religion, even though they have changed. I have also seen people who have tried to be atheists, and what they say is that there was a vast emptiness, and then they went back to be religion. Well, we can't dismiss these people. So then what about the atheists and agnostics? There I have two theories. Number one, the rule of 8%. Now, another thing that anthropologists know but don't always know why. There are 8% of men that go bald in their life. There are 8% of men that are colorblind. There are 8% of all people, men and women, that are left-handed. We don't know what is the purpose of it, what is the utility of having 8% of population do something differently. So atheists and agnostics could be that 8% of population, and I don't know of any studies actually being conducted here, but I'm just proposing that as a hypothesis. And why I think that is because in India, where atheists were not killed, there were many atheist traditions that started as an atheist tradition that was supposed to oppose the believers, and all of them, nearly all of them, completely fizzled out on their own. And not only that, some of them actually, after a few generations, some of them made complete U-turns. We have to think of this, like even when they were given a chance, they did not succeed. Then we also have the examples of communist Russia, communist China, where in spite of the forcible removal of religion, religion never really was completely wiped out. And it is, as soon as communism was gone, it has started to spread. And in spite of the fact that there have been a generation or two of people who were raised under a non-theist society, religion is spreading there as well. So we have tried it and it has not worked. So make peace with it. Second hypothesis, possible formation of a new species. Evolution continues on. Not just in humans, but in all life forms. Evolution continues on. New species come into being. New organs come into being. Organs are eliminated from the gene pool. This is all happening. Could it be that a new species is forming out of a previously herd species? We are going towards a solitary species. Modernity has completely changed how we live. Just in my lifespan, I have seen disintegration of big joint families. I grew up in one of those families, and an unprecedented rise of nuclear families. We also see that marriage itself is in the process of unraveling and disintegrating. There are more and more children raised by single parents all over the world. Could it be that a new species is coming into being? People are leaving traditional religion in droves. They are not saying that they are atheists, but they are just tired of the traditional religions and denominations and this and that. Why is that happening? If the valencies are no longer needed because we no longer live in a herd, are they being eliminated from our gene pool? That is another explanation of why people are just not being religious anymore. So these are my 2 cents on believers and non-believers. I hope you enjoyed considerations that I have put forward. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you want to contest, I welcome all thoughts. Please be respectful and add your comments. A text version of this speech is also available on my Facebook page. The link to that Facebook page is in the description. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you for watching. Bye.